are going to learn how text and annotations can be applied to the plotting. Okay. So in the previous videos of mine, you must have seen how to create plotting graphs using Matplotlib library and some other styling components also, how you can incorporate the styling components into the plotting as well. Now I'm going to show you how to add some specific texts and specific annotations. To do that, here let's first see what do we have in our code. Okay, so as you see, first the import statement, the pyplot library of matplotlib is to be imported, and we are using a temporary variable, temporary name plt, uh, for using this matplotlib.pyplot library name. Then I have one file ddstats.csv. Let me just open the file. Okay, so I don't have it here. Um, Let me go to users. It should be in the plotting. Yeah, here it is. So I have saved it to the same file of plotting folder. Uh, Here, see, there are two columns here. Okay, first column A and column B. Here in column A, here we are storing some total alcohol numbering details and total fatalities. Total alcohol fatalities and total fatalities, those are affected. There are two lists, and in the two lists, this is the first list argument for total fatalities, and the second list, column B, data is about alcohol fatalities. So let me close this one, and let's move to our same code here. So first the file is opened, and those first two columns are stored in two different lists. Now as we have everything in the list, now we want to split those two columns. So how to do that? So in the file f, so f means it points to the file. Now for each line in F, and here you need to we need to be specific about what line. So the first column, it corresponds to the total fatalities value, and the second column argument or data correspond to alcohol fatalities value, and they are split together using the split function. So now each line will have two different segments, that is total and alcohol. Now using those two segments, I'm going to add the two segments values into the total fatalities list and alcohol fatalities list. Now using that, we are going to start our plotting graph. So we are using in the two plots function, we have the arguments as years. Years are in the range of 1970 to 2012. Then in the first plotting, we have total fatalities, and the data will be added from this part, and the label will be total for that plotting. And the second plotting is in between years, alcohol fatalities, which the date in which the data will be added from this list here and labeled as alcohol related. Let me run the code and see how we are having the data in here in the plotting. So here there are two plotting graphs. Now if you want to be sure about which plotting line or graph belong to which values in the ddstats.csv file, to do that we are going to use the matplotlib pyplot x level function, labeling the x level as years and y level as number of highway fatalities. And then one legend function in order to add the legend to the upper right corner here in the plotting graph. So let me run the code. display the plotting. Yeah, here. So we labeled the X label to year and Y label in the Y axis, that is number of highway fatalities. And the legend is added here to the top right corner, upper right corner. So the blue graph corresponds to total fatalities data taken from the total fatalities list, and then the orange graph belong to the alcohol fatalities list. Okay, this is how you can make changes to your plotting. Let's say you want to add a title to your plotting graph. To do that, you simply can use the parts that I of the code that I don't want to execute. I'm just trying to commenting them out with this three um, quotation marks. So anything that you see is in green, those are not executed in the code. Let me run the code and see. After that, you can see one title has been added in the beginning: alcohol related fatalities on highways. I'm to close it again. Now let's say I want to add a text in the plotting graph in this coordinates. X coordinate should be 1970.5 and 11000 should be the Y coordinate, and this text should appear in that overlining of this X and Y coordinate, colored gray, and font size should be 10. So let's see how to use the text function with all these coordinates in it. um, so here you see, here it is. The coordinate starts at 1970.5 in the x-axis, and in the y-axis it's at 11,000. And here is the text that we added. Mm, Now let's say we want to add a vertical line in the graph or plotting itself, and what that vertical line should include. It should start at the coordinate x coordinate 1980 and should be colored gray. So for that we need the function axb line, vertical line at the x coordinate. If you want the line should be dependent on the y coordinate, aligned with the y coordinate, then you need to use ayv line and the y coordinate value. Yeah, here see the line appeared like this at 1980 x coordinate value. Now next, let's say we want to annotate our text. To apply annotation, I want one arrow. Let me first show you by adding these two new portions in the this set of statements inside the code. What change we are going to view right now. So one array is supposed to be added with a text: drinking age changed to 21, and this should correspond to the value, the y coordinate value and the overlining of x coordinate value. So how to get this arrow? So for creating arrow we need, for annotation we have one property, arrow property. So that arrow property should be set to some of the properties. What is the face color? It's red. Shrink is one argument. Then okay, so yeah, and then head length. How? What will be the length and what will be the width? In this way, you can add the arrow properties, and then you can use the annotate function. What annotation text should appear in what xy coordinate the arrow should appear, and when where the text should appear, and then arrow prop argument should be set to arrow properties that we set here in this 4 lines of code, so that it will be able to show the arrow here in 1984 and 24762 as y coordinate value, and the text is appearing with this x and y coordinate value. So this is how all the text and annotation properties can be applied to the plotting using matplotlib library.